Saturn in Sagittarius is a very, very freeing placement. It is about stirring up all of our juices to get us moving in a more liberated direction. It is about taking all of our individual pieces and making them into something complete. The Saturn in Sagittarius energy is one of the need for structure in terms of expansion, the need for deliberation in terms of whatever you're doing to make sure that you are a structured soul that has everything under control. This Saturn Sagittarius soul is a very, very wise person. And in this episode of the Cosmic Sky Podcast, I'm going to be discussing this placement in depth. Welcome to this episode, which, if you're seeing this on Spotify or Substack, welcome because, and TikTok perhaps, you are the only ones who are seeing this video because I'm not posting it on YouTube. And, you know, I'm doing this video during eclipse season, and it feels so liberating not to post this on YouTube, that I don't have to be burdened with like, oh, is my channel going to be going away? Is my channel going to be staying? Or, you know, whatever. Because of an issue that I had with an account getting removed. You know, I have been doing these episodes with a lot of insecurity, with a lot of tension in my body, with just trying to get through it and do whatever. I want to try to eliminate anything that is blocking me from my personal freedom, my personal feeling of peace and relaxation when doing these episodes. So that is what, I intend to do with these episodes, is get rid of that, remove all those kind of things from my experience, and that's what I want to do with this episode. So I'm super thrilled to delve into this information with you. Now this is another part of the Saturn series. I've done Saturn through most of the signs. I have 3 left to get through, including Saturn in Sagittarius, Saturn in Capricorn, and Saturn in Aquarius. So I have these left to get through. And so I'm going to be starting off with this one, or, continuing on this series. So this one, including the last one in Saturn and Pisces, will not be as long as the other particular ones. So that I can really delve into the information a little bit deeper, a little bit more in depth, give you that deeper look into what is going on with being able to get into it. There's less to talk about, so that's really, really good. So Saturn is, first of all, it's about endurance. It is about struggle. It is about strength. It is about trial and tribulation. That's what it is really all about. So, that is very, very important to consider with what Saturn, planet Saturn, is all about. Okay. Now, Saturn represents that endurance quality, that ability to get through the hard times, the ability to just stick it out until your guts are filled. It's about really, really being able to get through those really, really difficult times in your life, with being able to struggle and strain through that hardship and being able to get to the other side of it with success, with feeling good about yourself, that you have gotten to the other side. You have made sure that you have gotten to the other side, that you have done that you have worked really, really hard for that, and you have gone through the stress and the strain to get through that other side. And it took a lot out of you. It took a lot of hard work, a lot of hard ambition, a lot of hard, time and energy. But now you are on the other side of it. And now you climb up that mountain going, wow, I achieved so much in my life because I've had to work so hard for it. And now I feel uplifted. Now I feel free. Now I feel totally open to being myself now because I have done that work, that I feel like I am lifted out of the shadows and I am brought into this place of really, really good sense of goodness and an accomplishment, and like I've done a good job and I can pat myself on the back for that. Now Saturn is about that resilience, that being able to withstand hard times. And resilience is not just, oh, I get a wound and then it heals from it. No, it is these wounds, these things that break us down, but we become a lot stronger in the process. We become a lot more free to be, free to, just be very, very strong in situations that seem to break us down when we achieve those circumstances, when we actually get to a place of strength about ourselves. When we can get through those hardships, when we can endure through those hardships, we can find a lot of zest on the other side. We can find a lot of goodness and luck on the other side of those experiences. And that is what I want to call home for you right now. It's that feeling of, yes, I am strong because I've had to go through this really, really long rocky boat. And that rocky boat is really, really just getting its wood pieces just, it's unstable. But you've gotten through it. You've achieved through it. And that's really, really good. So how can we rise up? How can we become better, become stronger because of our challenges, because of our difficulties? How can we become much more resilient to what we actually achieve? Now, we can take all of our struggles, all of our stresses in our lives, and we can make them into strengths. We can turn them into beautiful things on the other end of it. We can turn them into something that we say, this is strong for us. We have grown through this and we are stronger because of it. And that's really what this is about. Now, Saturn is about structure, and it is about the foundations that you're building on. That's what Saturn is. Saturn is a lot of material, a lot of wood pieces just stacked on top of each other, and wood bones all over the path and ways. And all those bricks just stack up to create that beautiful house. It's about that structure and that building and solid foundation, because really, you cannot build on unsteady foundations. Otherwise, your house is going to crumble. Otherwise, if you build a house on unstable foundations, it's going to crumble. You need the stable structure in the foundations. To be able to build a house, you need structure. And you need a lot of structure. So this is so huge. I think this is super potent for you to be able to consider. Now, Sagittarius expands through philosophy. It expands through opening up and broadening its mind through whatever it is engaging in. It is about philosophy, and I want to discuss philosophy here and now. It is basically, it's just an appreciation of wisdom, as it says here. It's about thinking about things like the truth of life, knowledge, morality, and then they ask the really, really hard questions. Philosophers ask really, really hard questions, and they seek those answers to those hard questions. So Sagittarius is about this growth through asking these questions, through going on these adventures and gaining all this wisdom. Now, it can be about higher learning, higher education, rules college, rules universities. It is about learning in a more bigger perspective. It is about, I have become very, very ingrained with what I am doing in my life right now. And I am learning in a way that expands my mind, expands my perspective. And my philosophical goals that I have for my life. There's goals that are based on a lot of things like morality, like all this stuff. And we can become aware of what's going on in the world, what's going on with the world. We can be aware of what the world is up to, what the world is doing, what is going on in that arena. We can be aware of the whole collective of the world. And that is really, really where the gold meets its shoes. Now we can make the world into a more concrete understanding of the world. This can be very, very huge, because when we can create that, we can understand the world in much more baseline level. We can understand it much deeper, much more concrete, much more concretized. We get a really, really realistic understanding of what's going on in the world. Now, we can, at this time, get out of our comfort zone. This is what we can do, is we can expand out of what we're already familiar with, out of what we are just so stuck in. That's keeping us small. It's keeping us from growing. Like my comfort zone of always posting on YouTube. Well, it's not going to happen for a while, because getting out of my comfort zone means taking a risk not posting on there. And it's going to feel scary to do that, but at the same time, it feels exciting. It feels like when you're going out of your comfort zone, it feels scary, but yet it feels exhilarating. It feels exciting. It feels like, I'm moving in another direction now. I'm moving in a new direction. So sacrificing what you're already familiar with for the sake of growth. This is profound, because you can grow, but only if you leave behind certain things that keep you from growing, right? And for me, for now, it may be leaving my channel behind in some regards. So what is already familiar to you needs to be left behind in order for your soul to become much more expansive, much more gains in terms of luck, much more, wow, I can see the world from a whole new perspective now, because I've let these things that hold me back from my growing, my spiritual growth, I've let it all go. And now, because I let go of the heaviness and the tension, I feel so much more open, safe, lighter, expansive, and free. So now it is time to leave behind all these things and grow with the change, grow with what the universe is inviting you to grow with. Now, what lessons have you learned from all your experiences? From all the things that you've traveled and that you've studied, that you've learned about? What are those lessons? From all those different experiences that you've had in your life, what have you learned in your life about all these things, about what is going on with all these kind of things like that? So, what kind of lessons do you need to learn about? What kind of lessons just need to be incorporated and integrated? Because when we experience things, we go on certain paths, we learn lessons, and we ultimately move on the path of evolution with those lessons. And that's where the real gold is when we take all of our lessons and we put it into a little bit of a hole, a little bit of zip pine, and just go for it. Because we have the wisdom now, we have the tools, we have the understanding that we can grow through this understanding. Now we have structured beliefs. Structured beliefs. Because Saturn is structure, remember? So Sagittarius is about creating those beliefs of whatever we're doing. And it rules philosophy. So how are we going to take our beliefs and make them happen in a structured, concrete way? How are we going to do this? The answer is up to us. Now we can explore the world and be open and expansive and optimistic and set boundaries at the same time. We can set boundaries with ourselves in the world. Setting boundaries for what we are doing, for what we are learning about, for what we are undertaking. That says, I'm going to travel this much here, but I'm going to stop right here. I'm going to stop right here because I do not want to become overly optimistic, overly engrossed with losing my head over reality. Because we do want to maintain our head on reality. We want to keep that in our bones and structures. So, we can do both. We can create stimulating structures for our lives, creating structures that really, really have a lot of juice in them. A lot of that goodness. We call creating those structures that have that stimulus, that have that motion in them. Now, we can have a lot of seriousness and responsibility put into play here toward religion, our belief systems, our philosophies, and knowledge. We can be serious. Think of how serious we could be with all this stuff. We can be so dedicated to our path that we are not willing to give it up easily. That we can learn all the knowledge we can and grow from that knowledge. That's where the real magic lies. Now, Saturn and Sagittarius, exploring different cultures. This is huge. This is deep. We can plan and prepare for doing all of these things really, really well. When we open up our mind to learning, to philosophy, we can plan to expand, plan to grow, plan to open up our horizons. How can we balance these two things out? How can we balance planning and expansion of the mind and all the openness of expanding our mind and all that offers? How can we balance this planning with openness to all the possibilities that exist and all the open qualities that we can understand about the world? So that's food for thought now. So people with Saturn and Sagittarius want to take their time understanding new perspectives. What is the new perspective of how I'm looking at the world? What is that new perspective? What am I understanding? What viewpoint do I have for my world? What lesson do I need to learn? And what angle should I look at the world with? That's what they're questioning. That's what they spend their whole life questioning, is how should I look at the world? They spend all their time in philosophy of looking at the world from different angles, going to this church here with this lamp in this place in Spain, reading this sacred text over here and then going to this other place in Madrid and then Toledo and all these places operating from their curiosity. Spain, Mexico, Italy, whatever. They want to become open. And openness is the way to go. Now, they want to apply the knowledge that they learn in a way that is concrete. Concretized knowledge. They don't just want to learn about it. They want to make it a reality for themselves. They want to apply this information. How is it going to make sense for my life? How? Do they want to travel to expand their worldview and understanding? They want to expand their minds, expand their perspectives, not just traveling for the simple relaxation factor, the leisure. Sitting out on the beach in Hawaii drinking a pina colada, going to the spa, going on this nice cruise. That's not expanding of the mind. That's not growing the soul. They would rather backpack across China and ruck. I don't know if ruck is the right word, but do all this kind of thing like that. With being able to, well, I guess rucking is one of the reasons, one of the things that they could be known for doing. I don't know, but they're not about the relaxation, the calm, the leisure. They are really about the delight of opening up their minds to new perspectives. I just want to take a vacation. I just want a break. I just want a vacation. No, I want to open up my mind. I want to learn. I want to grow. I want to become a bigger version of myself, a better version of myself, and expand my perspective over life. We can have growth and expansion with discipline and structure in going after our goals, our philosophical goals that we prize so heavily, that we can become great masters of learning and expansion with these goals. We can grow through achieving the goals. They set clear philosophical goals and they work on them steadily. They set these big goals, these broad goals, and they achieve them one step at a time. They don't just do it all in one shot. No, that's not the way to do it. The way to do it is to take your time and do it in a way where you are really getting the most out of the experience. And it's not just the destination, but it's the journey of how you grow in the process, of who you become in the process. And so, working up the ladder and becoming steady, becoming strong, becoming tough, becoming resilient, becoming savvy and knowledgeable and wise about how you go about doing it. Now, once they set their sights and their mind on a belief or a person, you bet that they will commit to it wholeheartedly and stick it out. They will stick it out fully. That's what they will do. Is they will latch on to something that they believe, of a certain philosophy, a certain way of going about life, and they will stick to that philosophy. And they will make it happen for themselves. Because they have the dedication to commit fully. They can tap into the disciplined nature of Saturn when it comes to expanding their minds. They can focus their mind on something and grow through that expansion. Now, good things don't come right away. All those good things happen in time. All those good things occur in time. Where they wait for the right opportunities. Where they wait for the right moment to act. Where they understand that the universe is wise and loving, and they open themselves up to the universe fully. Now, one thing about them, their moral compass is very strong. Very strong. Influenced by higher beliefs. They know right and wrong like nobody's business. They have a moral compass that they will believe, that they will act with integrity, that they will act with trust in the universe, that they will act with acting right, acting kind, acting authentic and true. That is Sagittarius nature. It is an open, jovial, optimistic, lucky energy. It will act from that place of morality. Now, they are realistically optimistic. They won't just chase something down. No, they won't. They will not do that. They will not chase something down with the fearless optimism. No, they will be grounded in reality. They will not be overly optimistic where they lose sight on reality. They will be helpfully optimistic when they see things objectively. When they see things how they really are. But they will be positive and optimistic enough to steer them forward. They will be hopeful for an upcoming future. They will be hopeful for whatever future they're getting themselves into. That's what they will do. They will open themselves up to all that. In that kind of way. And they will do all of that. They will make it happen. And do all of it in a very good way. Now, as I said before, oops, got a skin on my nut. Okay. So they will get out of their comfort zone. They will explore with the reality and realizing that they are steadfast. When they have a difficult choice to make, they will stick it out. they will stick it out fully. They will go fully in the direction of their soul. Now, self-exploration and self-discovery and growth are three things that they have a strong moral compass. I think that I should discuss these things. Self-exploration. Self-exploration. They want to look at their thoughts, their feelings, what they believe, what matters to them. Aligning their actions with their philosophical beliefs. Now, self-discovery is about continuing to learn who you are, what you believe, and what you want from life. And you lead with authenticity. You lead with authenticity. And that is so important. You heard me talk about a lot of authenticity. The following's small now, but it'll grow. And people will hear all that I have to say on platforms that operate from authenticity. Authenticity is good. It is rooted in morality. Oh, it's our policy. We have to do this because the system's like this. Oh, our system just runs that way. We're going to destroy every single person. If we have to, we're going to take out all the bad ones. And we don't care who we're going to hurt in the process. We're just going to take probably a lot of innocent people and put them in a bad situation. And we're not going to give them thorough instructions of, telling them what they did wrong. And we're not going to have the backbone and the guts to want to reach out and talk with them and get to know them and help with them. Yeah, we're just going to be really, really black and white. And we're just going to be really destructive. Yeah. That is not going to work in the age of Aquarius. That whole destructive thing with AI, that whole destructive thing with technology, no. We need to stop that behavior. Nope. That is not going to fly with me. And I'm sure a lot of other people who have been affected by this. It will not fly with them either. So, the shadow side of this placement, we have to talk about this. Dogma. Ooh, okay. Now, you can be so strong and fixed and so strong in your convictions that you do not tap into the Sagittarian quality of the open-mindedness toward your perspective. Instead of becoming open-minded, you become so closed-minded, so rigid in your beliefs. You may not be able to be open and stand for others' beliefs, which could create a lot of difficult situations in relationship. This could be really, really huge for you. So difficult beliefs, difficult relationships, difficult interactions, difficult time. We could really, really be able to just cut people out because we're not choosing to open up to what they think and value. Now, we can adapt to new situations. And we may have a difficult time thinking of new ways to add a little bit of spice and pizzazz and fun to whatever we're doing. To take the stuck stagnancy and let's just have a little bit more perspective about it. Let's just explore this a little bit more. Like, that's what we're talking about here with this energy. Now, it's made to be difficult to bend these fixed beliefs that you have because you cling onto your viewpoints with fixity. Clinging up with the guts to just hold on and not let go. But in this process, you are learning it is okay to let go. Now, it may be very, very challenging for you to understand certain viewpoints that may be a little bit different than your own. I wonder about this. Because, what viewpoints are not the same as your own? And do you accept these things? Are you open to these things? Or do you want to shut these things down? That's your choice. Now, can you become more flexible and open-minded to create a better world experience and add something to your life? Make something of your life. Make something of yourself, they say. How can you enrich your life with whatever you're doing? And really, really tapping into that openness. So you want loyalty and integrity in any interaction or any partnership that you have is very, very important to you. You want honest people who are bright, who are intellectual, who are open to new ideas, new philosophies, who have a bit of a philosophy to them, who think in very, very broad terms, who think in very, very philosophical terms with what they're doing. And they are open to understanding new philosophies, new sets of beliefs about them. You want to make friends with people who love learning, growing, traveling, and any relationship with a mentor. Well, that relationship is based on the pursuit of knowledge and the seeking of truth. You want a mutual relationship where you are learning things from each other. There's a reciprocity in place where you are teaching this mentor what you know from your wisdom, and they are teaching you what they know from their wisdom. And you build trust in that relationship. And you want to test your beliefs with situations where people help you to test these and develop a more open perspective to life. Now, you value self-improvement. Yes, you do. Because Sagittarius wants to be a better version of itself. Sagittarius is always seeking to grow on a soul level. And you want to grow spiritually. You want those new experiences to really, really support you in them. Now, maybe you will do this through expanding your horizons, through travel or learning intellectual topics. Maybe you will do this through studying spiritual topics, or getting into religion, having a lot of beliefs in religious structures, getting indoctrinated with religions that are true for you, because the downside of religions is that you get indoctrinated with all these beliefs and you don't question them every now and again, like, are they true for me? I'm just going along with it. Yeah. No. Okay? No. Okay? You are meant to question if these religious beliefs are actually true for you. Now, purpose is huge. Your spiritual journey, your spiritual destiny is huge for you to purposefully move on that path. Move with purpose. Move with intention. Move with all that going on with your life. And you want to commit to curiosity. Have curiosity. And learn something, and you're going to say, I'm going to learn it, I'm going to stick to it. I'm going to learn the subject, and I'm going to stick to this. I'm opening my mind, but I'm not letting it get scattered all around. I'm blinders on in this direction. Boom. You're good. Maybe that's how you find your purpose. Well, anyway, that's all I have to say on Saturn Sagittarius. Thank you for tuning in to this episode of the Cosmic Sky Podcast. I will be back tomorrow to talk about the upcoming lunar eclipse in Pisces happening on the 27th. I'm so excited to talk to you about that because that's a big eclipse. Surrendering, letting go. And I'm so thrilled to give you these astrology horoscopes with the collective sign and the 12 sign horoscopes. I'm excited to delve into that too. And so, this is where I leave you. If you like this episode, please follow this podcast. You can download it. You can do all those things. Subscribe to me on Substack. Follow me on TikTok. And I will see you in the next episode of Cosmic Sky Podcast. Much love.